Here we have a new 2026 Toyota CHR. Now this one comes in the XSE trim level, all-wheel drive, windshield pearl paint, and then we have black synthetic suede and Softex interior. Now we get an electric motor on each axle, a 75 kilowatt hour battery, up to 273 miles on a charge. So very interesting take to make the CHR all electric. Now to the front end here, we do get our LED headlamps along with the LED daytime running lights. I do like the design, very RAV4-esque, pretty much like all the newer Toyotas. They're kind of going with that front fascia one way or another, but I really like it. Down here to these wheels, these are gonna be gunmetal 20-inch alloy wheels. I like that design as well. It's something that really makes this car pop when you see it. We get passive keyless entry, memory seat controls. We have power folding mirrors, blind spot monitors, one-touch up and down windows on all four doors, rear window lockout there. I like that they put the synthetic suede on the door panel. It makes it look premium in my opinion. And down here we have our automatic high beam toggle, headlight washers. That's for the lift gate, hood release. We get a manual tilt telescoping steering wheel. And then here's our power driver's seat with two-way power lumbar support. Now I do want to give a huge thanks to John Roberts Toyota here in Manchester, Tennessee for allowing me to review this vehicle today. I'll leave a link below in the description. If you're looking to find the best price on one of these closer to home, click that second link down below. It takes just a minute to fill out your information, and I'll make sure the local dealers are fighting to get you the best price on this or whatever new vehicle you might be interested in. Now, the moment of truth. I have the front seat adjusted for someone of my size, being 6'3" with longer legs. I have a history of not being able to fit in these at all, so let's see how I fit behind myself in this new one. So really not bad, honestly. My knees are brushing the back of the seat a little bit, but I mean, this is not that kind of vehicle for someone like myself. I will say, even where the roof slants, my head is not touching the headliner at all, but if I move at all, you know, my hair is brushing it. But very impressive for this kind of vehicle, I think, at least for what we're used to having from the CHR. And then this is a nice touch. We have 3-stage heated outboard seats, 2 USB-C charge ports, and then we have our rear AC vents as well. And there's a look at the front from back here. That optional panoramic moonroof, that's a sunshade. LED reading lights throughout. Then the middle seat folds down, bottle holders are there, then a little storage tray for phone, if you want to put some earbuds in there, I don't know. Grab handle, you can hang a shirt or a pair of pants on that hook. I mean, so far I'm impressed with it. It's interesting. Child locks on both sides, lock, unlock there. And then as we come around to the back end, full LED tail lamps. And I do like that design. I mean, decent storage back here, I think. Top tethers are integrated on the back of the seats themselves. And then you have a 1500 watt 3-prong plug-in. You can power that on or off there. Now, I will say this is something I don't see in EVs a lot, so I'm very glad to have that. We get the JBL sound system, so small sub in the back. And then we do have space for the tire inflator kit, and then an additional storage space back there if you want to use that or take these out. So I like the usability of it. It's very much still a CHR, I think, with a lot of the quirkiness that you're used to having. Now, before I forget, we do have the crossbars here. I'm interested to see how those sound when I take this out on the interstate for a test drive. If they're gonna be overly loud or if I won't notice. Now, if you need to fold the seat down, you pull up here, folds flat. Pretty easy to pop it back into place, and you do have a little bit of recline, as you can see. And then lower anchors are here for the car seats. Now to the window sticker, you all can pause anywhere you need to if you want to take a closer look at anything. So they're the standard features. You can see the battery capacity there, the electric motors, And then we have a few options here, the cold weather package, the JBL sound system. Pretty much everything is an option here, the roof. I mean, $44,278. I don't think that's bad, especially when you consider the base price on the XSE is $39,000. The front passenger seat, that's power seat back, seat bottom. And then we have a USB-C port there on both sides and a 12 volt. I'm wondering how you get this glove box open, or if that is a glove box. That's interesting. Now to the charge port. We do have the Tesla style charge port on these, so you can hook these up to the superchargers in the Tesla network. Don't have to worry about Electrify America, charge point, all of that. But back around to the front, let's just see what's under the hood. And that seems to be the electric motor for the front down there. But before we hop in the driver's seat, I'm going to show off the blinkers. Get them in the side mirrors. And then up front. Let's go ahead and hop in here. It's a nice soft text wrap steering wheel. There's the horn. Now over here to the radio, we get AM, FM, XM, Bluetooth, wireless CarPlay, Android Auto compatibility. You have the Experience Drive Connect if you want to hook up the navigation system and all of that. It's getting a little hot in here. And then over here, we have a few vehicle settings, so you can see the all-wheel drive, battery preconditioning, the charging schedule if you want to do that, the driving assist if you want to fool with some of those settings. And then your tire pressure right here in the screen. The settings, you go down here to your general settings. You can change your language and units here. You get 3 options for language. And then you can set your units of measurement to either be automatic based on where you are, or you can fool with a couple of those manually. Now backup camera right here, guidelines follow you as you turn the steering wheel. And then your climate controls, you can actually pull up a menu here, so you can operate the S-Flow if you only want to go to the front or the front and the back. You can do that. The Eco Heat Cool, windshield deicer. And then over here you can use your frequently used, I guess, widgets, if you will. You can scroll through all of that. But you can change your fan direction here pretty easy. Fan speed here, the auto mode, the 3-stage heated seats are right there. And then we can sync the steering wheel, and then your temperature you can adjust for either side here. And then you have shortcuts for the defrosters down below. Volume knob is there, click to mute. Then down here, hazards, you get 2 wireless charging pads. If you hit this button here, pull up the camera, and that's a look at the front camera there. Then you have that 360 view as well. Electronic parking brake, pull up to engage, hit the brake, press down to disengage, automatic brake hold. You have your eco mode that you can toggle here, and then you also have your traction control and your snow mode there. Now you can hit the brake, push this down, reverse, drive, then just press in for neutral, P for park. It's an interesting shifter because I always want to like use this in the middle, but it basically is just holding this together. Your bottle holders are there. Center console cubby space is here. And then for the roof, you one touch open that, and that's fixed glass there. Same thing closing it. Garage door transmitters in the rear view mirror. There are the lights. Quick look at the back seat. And then the vanity mirror right there. But back up front, I forgot to mention the brightness for the gauge cluster. You can fool with that there. The trip meter, you can change that as well if you want to see trip A, trip B, or the actual mileage of the vehicle. And then you do have the paddles behind the steering wheel. Kind of hard to see, they're way back there. And that controls the regen for the braking. But Bluetooth button, these 4 arrows and this back button go through the gauge cluster right here. Depending on where you are, if you want to change anything, you can do that. And then volume, down, up, voice recognition. This goes through your audio sources here, track list of radio station presets, and then you can change between adaptive and standard cruise control. And then when you have the adaptive on and the lane keeping system, you can turn on the driving assist system there, adjust your speed, and cancel there. Now left side stalk, blinkers, high beams, auto lights, and then you have automatic wipers, one time off, auto low high. You can adjust that auto frequency right there, pull up for the fluid. Push button start. And finally, here is the key fob. But next, let's go ahead and take this 2026 Toyota CHR out on the road for a test drive. So starting the test drive in the CHR, yeah, this thing pulls. I'll say that right off the bat. It's not like a traditional EV. It's not what you would expect from a CHR. That's one of the reasons this is so just funny to me, because the CHR was always just lackluster in acceleration and just driving feel. But this thing is, it's quick. And it's not like hybrid quick. It's borderline fast how it accelerates. And it's just, it's hilarious. And I think it has to do with the reputation of the CHR. Again, that's what makes it so funny. For example, the RAV4 Prime, when that came out, I'm so used to the RAV4 being a 2.5 naturally aspirated 4-cylinder that takes 20 seconds to get up to speed and all of that. And then you get in that Prime, you floor it, and there's so much going on, but you're cracking a 0 to 60 time in less than 5 seconds. That's what you're getting here. This just is insane to me, how this drives. And all I want to do is just keep my foot in it. I'm going to put into the eco mode and let's see how it accelerates out of this corner. Gosh, yeah, still plenty of power. It doesn't give you that 100% pull that you get when you're in the normal mode, but I mean, it still feels, what's crazy is it feels quicker than my Mustang Mach-E. Mine's a rear wheel drive, 1 electric motor, so that's part of it, but still, again, for a CHR, you don't expect this kind of power coming from this vehicle. Now, overall, I'm only doing about 45, but the crossbars on here aren't giving me much of a problem yet. I'm hearing a little bit of wind noise, and I expect that to be a bit louder once I get up to speed on the interstate, but as of now, not bothersome. This does feel a lot more refined, and you know, I have a Mustang Mach-E. I've had it since it came out, almost 90,000 miles on that vehicle, so it's very easy for me to compare that to the different EVs that I'm driving. That's kind of the, I guess, the standard for me to go by. And this does feel much quieter in terms of the insulation, in terms of the road noise, than that car. But I mean, this also doesn't feel as sporty. It feels quicker, but in a good way. The steering doesn't feel overly stiff. The ride is not overly stiff. It drives like more like a RAV4 to me than anything. I love the screen here. I think the layout was very nice. It is kind of Prius-esque, if you will, so I can't really see anything behind the wheel unless I adjust this all the way down. But then that takes up my legroom. But still, I mean, I have the space, honestly. It just, I have to drive differently because this is how I pretty much drive anyway because of my hips being wider. But I like the setup here in the screen. It's very minimal, but it kind of has all the information. I can see the charge of the battery. I can see the range. I can see the temperature. I can see the mileage on the vehicle. I can see what drive mode I'm in, the speed. So, I mean, everything is there. And I like this setup here on the screen. It's very big, but still not intruding on the windshield at all. As much as this is taking up space, it's still one of those things where I feel like I can just kind of peek up if I need to see something. And where the hood's sloped, it's not overwhelming having this screen up in front of you. Now, as for the climate controls, I like being able to adjust the fan speed here. I like being able to change the fan direction, the temperature, everything makes sense. Everything is easy to get to. But even though it's in the screen, it doesn't get on my nerves. Like a lot of these, even my Mustang, I feel like because I have to turn this knob to do this, it's a volume knob and the AC controls, so on and so forth, it can be a bit annoying. But with this here, everything, like this would be a button if it wasn't in the touchscreen, if that makes sense. And that's what kind of differentiates the good HVAC controls in the screen from the bad ones. All right, let's take eco mode off. Here we go. And I mean, that was nothing. I just tapped the throttle. That's crazy. Now I want to give one more huge thanks to John Roberts Toyota here in Manchester, Tennessee for allowing me to review this vehicle today. I'll leave a link below in the description. If you're looking to find the best price on one of these closer to home, click that second link down below. It takes just a minute to fill out your information, and I'll make sure the local dealers are fighting to get to the best price on this or whatever new vehicle you might be interested in. But this is solid. Now, again, the wind noise I can hear, but for the most part, it's an EV, and this, again, it feels just as loud as my Mach-E, even with the crossbars. It's a different kind of noise, but it's much more insulated in here, I think, compared to my Mustang Mach-E. The crossbars, if you take those away, I feel like your road noise is going to be, or the wind noise at least, is going to be very, very minimal. And road noise, even with these bigger wheels, not a huge issue either. Now, in terms of what you get for the money, I mean, it's 45 grand. And I mean, it's a solid deal, I think. Now, the market for this is going to be interesting. I feel like that BZ4X or whatever, I feel like this is a better option. I think it's a bit cheaper. It's a bit more fun to drive, and it feels a bit more modern. I like the CHR has always been a quirky vehicle, and I feel like with it being an EV, it's in a better space as opposed to having a 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. And it's a solid vehicle. Now, there's still quite a bit of stigma surrounding EVs. Even as our gas prices are hitting $5, people are like, I'm not going to electric vehicles and blah, blah, blah. But these things are so practical. Again, you have to do very little maintenance to them. They're quick, they're fun to drive, they're so much cheaper to operate. I think Toyota did something smart here, and it's probably going to be a slow burn at first, but it just it makes sense that this car is an EV. I feel like this should have always been an EV because this is so much better than the gas-powered version. It's crazy how nice this is, how well it drives, how cool it is, and you're getting 273 miles on a full charge. Fantastic daily driver here. And with all that being said, this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2026 Toyota CHR XSE.